wine is flowing, so you know where we're going. We're going on a backlot tour, and I'm your tour guide, Captain Zach, and this with me always is Beans.
Or Jana.
You know, this game we play every time.
It's a fun game.
It's getting old. It's getting old. You don't have to say your real name because we all know your real name is Beans. Anyways, we're here to talk about the death of Star Cruiser.
Star Wars Galactic Star Cruiser.
I mean, I told you this months and months ago that this thing ain't gonna last.
Okay.
And you're like, nah, it's fine.
Well,
It'll be fine.
so we have an episode about our adventure on the Star Wars Galactic Star Cruiser that we made a couple months after we went on it.
Yeah.
Now here we are a year later,
And
having not aired that episode yet. And
we're ambitious procrastinators. What can we say?
they just announced, and God knows when this will air, that they're,
Might be closed.
that they're closing the Galactic Star Cruiser. Its final voyage is September 28th to the 30th.
I mean, I am not shocked at all. It's just too expensive. And I think,
You know, in the industry, the travel agency industry, we call it cost prohibitive.
I think it's problematic that it was set between episodes 8 and 9. I think that's the first thing, it's like it's too expensive. But second thing, it's wedged between two movies that no one gives a fuck about. Like,
Well, not no one. We just don't.
there's a lot of people that are like the Star Wars fans that would want to do something like this more often than not are going to be like episodes 1 through 6 are my Star Wars. 8 and 9 can eat a dick. 7 is
7 to 6.
watchable. You're like, you played it safe by making A New Hope again, but you said it in a time period that like most Star Wars fans are like, you know. Episode 9 had come out at this point, so Kylo Ren's dead, and he's in the Star Wars story in this. So you're like, canon doesn't matter at that point in terms of like your continuity. It could have been easily an episode 4 thing or an episode 1 thing for that matter. You know, it could have been set anytime.
You know, I'm not here to talk about the problems.
I'm
here to mourn.
No, I'm here to talk about the problems because I think
Okay, you know, though, I do want to point out we had a lot of fun.
we did have a lot of fun,
on
but
the
I'm
Star
saying,
Cruiser.
there's a lot of problems. Like problematic could be like
You're
you
shouting.
should have swapped it up. You needed to change it up anyways because if you want people to come back, you're gonna have to get a new storyline
No, I
anyways.
agree.
Like
I
it should have
agree.
been like it should have cycled through every like quarter maybe of like a different story and not pay
Well,
for alcohol
You know, who knows that,
or drink
like,
tickets.
because they're not going to, like, just demolish that building.
No, I think what's gonna happen. Okay, this is my prediction. Okay,
I've got
They're-
3 predictions. I'm
Well,
sure 2 of ours align at least.
I think so. I think it's just going to kind of reconfigure itself, and it's just going to open as a regular hotel. There's not going to be like an experience. That stuff will still be in there that you can just do it.
Because they'll have, like, a cafeteria, essentially, with the dining hall.
You got your cafeteria.
You've got your bar. You've got your gift shop. The only thing is they don't have a pool.
I don't know if that's going to matter, but the only thing that's going to change is like you're going to have to find a different central parking and a transportation to and from that
Why do you need different parking?
because you're going to be able to get to the other resort, like the other parks. You can only get to MGM at this point. Do you think they're going to still have like the crazy bus that you can't see out of is the thing?
No, they would just use normal Disney transportation buses.
I think they'll still try to keep it like a little bit like mysterious in that sense of like, we're going to use this transport bus to your cars or like a ticket and transportation kind of center. That's what I think is going to happen.
Can we clarify which bus we're talking about?
The one that takes you to like Batu.
Okay, yeah. So I think they would just replace that with a Disney bus.
No, I think they'll still like,
Because like it can just take you to you know, it'll just be like a resort, like, oh, you have like direct access to Galaxy's Edge, and this is where we drop you off, and then
because
like
it's
we'll
going to be
take you to the other parks.
I think it's just going to become a Galaxy's Edge hotel. That's it.
Kinda
Plain
like-
and simple, like a $400 or $500 a night for your whole family, and it could easily suit them because we know how many like beds are in that thing.
Yeah, I gotta say the rooms are very spacious.
They're cool rooms, and like
They're amazing.
if you have kids, it's really good because you can have at least three, I think.
So
Right? There's
there
a pull
are
down bed too.
well, there are four. Sorry, there are three different room types. There is a.
What did we stay in? The basic.
Did ours have a pull down bed?
I think it did. It had like the two weird like bunk bed things, the regular bed that we were in, and then I
wouldn't
think
call
it
the
had.
bunk beds weird because they're just
Well, they're
bunk
futuristic, I
beds.
guess, but like it's a neat room, but like I don't think it's a room that you're gonna want. It's you said spacious. I don't know if it's more spacious than the other ones.
It's not more spacious than a deluxe room. I think it's
I don't think
equally
it's-
as spacious as a moderate.
I think it'd be
resort.
difficult to stay in there with two kids for a week. I'll tell you that.
Well, that's on people to decide for themselves. So there are three different types.
That's on them shits.
Yeah. There are three different types of rooms. There is the Galaxy class suite, which will hold 4 passengers, a standard cabin, which will take 4 to 5 passengers, and a Grand Captain suite, which will take 8 passengers.
Whoa, how's that work?
It's a 2-bedroom, and it has 2 bathrooms.
Bathrooms were cool in that.
The bathrooms were good. They were really good showers too. Although I can't really say I've ever been disappointed in a Disney shower.
Oh, I can tell you I have.
Okay, well, all right.
Anyways, I think it's just gonna become a hotel, and that's it. Because they can't demolish that thing. They spent like billions of dollars on this shit,
They did.
and it's like you can't just leave that there.
And they
It's-
also announced in their like last quarterly call that they're going to be cutting like over $10 billion in costs this year.
I mean, they have to. They're losing money left and right.
Yeah.
But like, think
I just think that they have to have been losing a substantial amount of money on this
yeah, like
to close it this fast.
Well, what you do is like you just have face characters come through every once in a while. You don't have to have the story going because I
Or Star Wars character dining.
yeah, that's what I mean. Like that's what it's going to be, I think. Because there's lots of people that would just want to go there just to see it and stay there and, experience it for like a 2-3 day trip and not have to pay $5,000-$6,000. They could pay like $1,000 for like 2 days for your whole family because I'm assuming it's going to be on par with the other Disney resorts where it's like
Right, and then
$500.
You're paying for your own food at
Yes.
that point. There's no like live entertainment. And so here's one thing too: the characters on board, they're not paid like normal cast members at that rate. They're paid at like an entertainer rate.
So they're getting paid a lot more.
Yes.
Well, they're
And
interacting
so-
for like hours on end.
Well, yeah. So that's something you have to think about. You have 8 characters who are getting paid at an entertainer rate for minimum 12 hours a day.
Yeah.
That adds up a lot.
I'm just curious to see what they would do with some of those other rooms that are just like where we were doing the challenges and activities and stuff.
Are you talking about like the lightsaber training
No,
and the
I'm talking.
cargo area?
Yeah, they took the cargo and all that stuff. Maybe you leave that and just like, if people want to do it, they can do it. But you don't need to have like your characters like and stuff come in and out. Maybe they could change it up and do something else with it because it's all interactive stuff.
Yeah.
I think you leave the
But it's not really a big enough of a space. Like those aren't really big enough of spaces to.
to change into something else.
Yeah.
They're not really. I think what you do, you leave most of it intact. I think, like you leave the bridge, and like you can have kids go in and out and like do the little challenges and the learn to shoot. Like there was a whole bunch of stuff. I don't know what about like the training and stuff, but
Yeah.
some of that stuff you're going to have to change again to something else. But I think it's just going to become a hotel, though. I think that's the easiest solution, and I think that's the cheapest solution for them to not lose up
That
more
is
money.
my hope that it just becomes a Star Wars themed hotel.
Yeah, that's what it's going to be, I think.
Like that's what I want because I still want to take our kids to it.
I think it's too ambitious to have like that keep going like that. I think it's just going to become a Star Wars hotel.
So the second thing that I think it might become,
It might spark a Haunted Mansion hotel and a Pirates of the Caribbean hotel.
I don't think it will.
Why do you... Oh, whatever. They've got a Tiki hotel already. Why is it so far-fetched to have like a... actually stay in the Tower of Terror like they initially said?
I mean, that's a wonderful idea, and there are reasons that it did
More
not happen.
ultra-
for the same reason that the Star Cruiser is
Ultra
failing.
themed hotels. More ultra themed hotels is going to lead to.
Okay, well, so that's one possibility. Second, I think, is they create a new immersive experience that reaches a broader audience. Because in their statement, paraphrasing, they said that they were going to learn from what they did and
Yeah, I saw that.
create something to reach a larger fan base, essentially.
You mean actually listen to the fans and do something from episodes 4, 5, and 6?
No, like I think it's just that like Star Wars is a super niche, and
What?
it's a super niche when it comes to all the fandoms out there. Yeah, it's a big fandom.
I think it's
But
the biggest fandom.
when it comes to people willing to spend money like this, it is incredibly niche and needs to appeal to a broader audience.
I don't know
Disney
about
as
that.
a whole can appeal to a huge audience, but then
I-
you're going deeper into.
I think the point you're missing, I think, is I don't think it's niche at all. I think they just need to appeal.
It's niche.
I think they need to appeal to the people that actually have the money to spend on this, because the ones that do are your older audience usually, that grew up with 4, 5, and 6, and now like 1, 2, and 3 way more because 7, 8, and 9 suck. So by default, you're like, oh, I like 2 and 3 now. It's the biggest fan.
It's
Name
just-
a bigger fandom. There's no bigger fandom than Star Wars.
Harry Potter,
No.
Star Trek, Disney,
Star Trek is-
Marvel,
No. Marvel
The Witcher.
is crashing it. Wow. Marvel is crashing and burning. It's on its way out. Star Wars has been around since 1977. I know Marvel has been around since the 40s or later on when it became Marvel.
I don't think Marvel's crashing and
movies-
burning. I think there's just a fatigue happening and they need to dial it back a lot. But that is another conversation.
But that's been around since what? 2008 is when that started. This is something that's been around since 1977, and it's still going strong. And I don't think there's a fatigue. I think there needs to be a clean house and get rid of Kathleen Kennedy. And she might be out the door because Indiana Jones might crash and burn, and that might be her final straw.
Well, and depending on when this airs, did crash and burn.
She did crash and burn, just in case it does. This is the biggest fandom, whether you think so or not. Star Wars is the biggest fandom. There is no other fandom near this. Harry Potter fans, I don't think are as wrapped. Like, they're not buying the same amount of merchandise. It's bigger. I don't know how to explain it, but this is like a much... You should know, of all people, you're a huge Star Wars fan. You're a much bigger Star Wars fan than a Harry Potter fan. And don't get me
Yes.
wrong, I love Harry Potter. I also love Star Wars. I also love Marvel. I also love Indiana Jones. I have a lot of fandoms I like. But Star Wars, I know, is the biggest.
Yeah, but I think the average Star Wars fan does not have the money to spend on something like this.
Oh, none of them do. That's what I'm saying. Like, it can't...
That's why I'm saying that it's too much of a niche because you're targeting.
Well,
a
you're saying
niche,
they're gonna go do another one of these then again.
but for
And I'm saying I don't think that's a good idea.
for like a broader audience.
What do you think a
So,
broader audience entails for this?
Not for Star Wars. I'm not saying that they'd keep it Star Wars. I'm saying that they would reskin it and do it as something else,
Oh, I think that's even worse.
like a whole Disney princess experience or something, or like
You couldn't reskinning that would be a nightmare to do as a princess thing. It's all futuristic. The doors like slide open and like
oh yeah, they can't change that.
those would be really, really fucking expensive to change. I guarantee you that. Like, to reskin all those rooms is insane.
I know it would be, but I'm just saying they're gonna do something with that space, and I think that is an option,
I think-
especially with how they phrased
I think
their
I
statement.
think the phrasing the statement means we're gonna go back in time to a long time ago kind of thing.
So that was the third thing I was gonna say is that they just changed the storyline completely to be the original trilogy.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be that. If you don't make it a hotel just on its own, it's gonna either change the experience to episode 4, 5, 6 era, and reduce the price dramatically.
So that would be my favorite option, and then the Star Wars hotel after that.
The simplest is gonna be a
one-
hotel. That's it. I
Cost
think.
prohibitive. Two, when they announced right before they started selling it that it was going to be anywhere from like a $4,000 to like $12,000 vacation.
Yeah.
Well, actually on their site they said like 8,000, but when I called to price out like a captain suite for like 8 people, it was $12,000
For 2 days.
for 2 days.
Well, think about this. Also,
So,
this is the other thing to think about. If you're not doing an
but
experience, though,
okay, here's though the other thing. Besides the sticker shock, they make the booking process incredibly difficult.
yeah,
Incredibly difficult. They will not put prices online other than that, just like standard pricing, like starting from kind of thing for like the lowest season that you can go in on like middle of the week, you know. And when you call to book or you call to get a quote, first off, it's a dedicated number that you have to call to do it. And second, you can't just like say, hey, what's the price for, 4 people on like September 28th? You have to, and, just like, okay, well, let's look at, August 15th. You have to give them your name, your address, your phone number, every person's who is attending, all the same information, just for them to be able to check the price and
it's a
tell you
little
that.
weird.
And then if you say like, okay, well, let's check this date instead, they have to do that all over again every
So,
time.
to simplify things, though, if it were just a hotel,
Mm-hmm.
they wouldn't need to be doing the 2-day block, like schedule.
Yes. Yeah.
It could just be
It could
staggered.
be whenever.
It could be whenever. You could go 5 days. You can go 7.
I
You can
also
go 1.
think one thing that they made a mistake on too was by not having the stuff online is think about all the drunk purchases people make.
People are going to make a drunk $5,000 one.
Yes,
Interesting.
I genuinely do.
Well, if it's now a regular hotel,
And not necessarily like a drunk $5,000 purchase, it's a 20% deposit required. So it's just like you're having a good time thinking about Star Wars, everyone just like with your buddies and like, guys, we should totally do this. Yeah, let's do this. Okay, checking prices. Oh man, that's not too bad. Booking this now, put that 20% down. And it's like, then like a few days later, you're just like, oh, well, we got it booked. We've got time. We can make installment payments or whatever.
who are these people you're talking about?
People are me.
Oh boy.
I've never
I'm
made a
just saying,
$5,000 purchase or a trip purchase while drunk,
if-
but I've made some questionable purchases.
If the blocks are missing, like if you're not having to adhere to the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, those blocks that they have, it's going to open it up to like a bunch of people being like, oh, I can just go for like a couple days or go the weekend and book my 3-day trip and just stay there. And that's it. And I don't have to worry about like, oh, you can only stay this day and this day. That's the only time. If they make it a lot simpler and a lot cheaper and it's just like a simple hotel room where it's like it's not all inclusive, like I don't have to worry about eating there and staying there because we were there. We were only there when we were there,
Well, yeah, because that's how it's designed.
Yeah, that's how it's designed. But if it's not designed like that, if it's like you can just go to Batu, which is kind of awesome to be like, hey, we can actually just get right into Batu. You're like, you come right into Batu. Like that alone is like a nice option because
There is no other.
there's no
there's
MGM
no-
hotels like that.
Well, first off, there's no Hollywood Studios hotels at all. There's not a Hollywood Studios resort area like there is for like Epcot, Disney Springs, Magic Kingdom, Animal Kingdom. So it would be like
The
the one and
exclusive
only
Hollywood Studios hotel.
and there's
basically.
only 100 rooms in the whole thing.
Yeah, it's pretty small.
Yeah. I want it to stay Star Wars. I want it to survive in some way.
I think it has to stay Star Wars because it's a space themed hotel. Because like literally, if you reskin that, it'd be a lot of money.
Yeah,
because
they're trying to save
it's
money.
there's some crazy cool technology on the doors alone. I'm saying because they slide open with your magic band, and it's like you are in Star Wars.
Wait, what?
The doors slid open.
Did they? I don't remember that.
You did it and it goes shh, shh. Did it? Where do you not remember that? That was one of the cooler parts.
Yeah, I'm going back in August. I'll check it out.
No, you did this. You never opened a door. You had to remember that.
Maybe.
The doors slid open like in Star Wars. I don't know how you don't remember that.
I mean, I know we had to pull open our bedroom door, our room door.
No, it like slid open.
Did it?
I'm pretty sure it did.
All right, I need to like make a mental note
I'm pretty sure it slid like that.
to check that out specifically because I don't remember that.
It's gonna stay Star Wars. It's just gonna become a hotel. That's my bet.
I hope so. I genuinely hope so.
It's too expensive to get rid of like that. You're just gonna
Yeah, but
you
I
take the
mean,
experience away,
Disney
and that's
has
it.
like halfway built stuff and dropped it before.
This
You
is
know,
full on built and done for over a year, and it's like they spend a lot of money on this thing, and they're like, you can't. Is this just gonna sit there? The cost of running it, if there's no if there's no like set menus, there's no buffet anymore. There's actually just a quick service and a sit down now, because there's a nice sit down area, and I'm sure they have chefs there because they're making good food. There's like, I think you just do a buffet in the morning and you just pay like that's how it is, and then you have like a nice sit down dinner option, and a lunch is the buffet also. That's how they're gonna run it.
I don't think they're going to do buffets because buffets are so expensive.
Okay, they can order it because they had cool food there too. I think you keep the menu the same because the food was really good.
The food was amazing.
I think that's what you do. You just make it to order, and
Even
you
just
say,
like make it like prefix.
be like, here's what you get, and then that's it. And that'll cut down your cost because you're not doing buffets all the time. You don't have all the crazy like characters anymore.
You're also not providing a 1-day ticket to Hollywood Studios. You're not
Yeah.
providing a quick service meal in Hollywood Studios that comes with an alcoholic beverage.
I think it's a fart in a hurricane compared to the rest of the cost that they were trying to.
Well, it's
Push
still
on you.
something to build in, you know.
Yeah, but it's like at this point, just take away all the face characters, unless you want to do character dining, and you take away all the meals, and then you're just left with that basic
So
hotel
what
experience.
you need to do is basically take away like the majority of the fixed cost.
Yeah, I think you make it like a $400 a night hotel, and that's it. And they'll start actually making money after a while. It's a small hotel, but if people had the option of just staying there for the regular price of a hotel, it would book up immediately. Like immediately, it would book up because you're like right at MGM, and you can just get into MGM so fast. Because
And to the part you want to be
you're
in.
literally
if you're staying
coming-
at a Star Wars hotel, you want
you're
to be
literally
in that
coming
too.
in right next to like Kylo Ren's like ship. That's where
yeah.
you come in, because you take a little cool transport there. And I think you should have the option of taking that transport to there, or like you said, a regular like that goes to. I think that bus to make it feel.
Specifically goes to Hollywood Studios, but then you have
I
the
think one-
Disney bus that goes to different.
No, I think it should still be something like that goes to like a special transportation center for them that you could either go to any of the parks.
Well, they wouldn't build a transportation center. They just take you to the ticket and transportation center.
Yeah, like that. That's what I mean. It just goes like that. Because you're going to have to park in a certain place too, I think, because you have to have access to your car.
Well, there's a parking lot there. We know that.
Yeah, so maybe it just goes to like,
They just won't do valet anymore.
I think my bet is just a hotel, a deluxe priced hotel. That's what I think it's going to be.
But the thing is, it doesn't have the qualifiers for a deluxe hotel.
I know there's no amenities whatsoever.
Well, there's no amenities. There's no pool. There's no gym. There's no 2 modes of transportation.
Yeah, they could probably make
There's
an
no
they could make an
balcony
indoor
on the
pool
rooms.
now. They could do an indoor pool, and what like they could probably have like one of those things turned into a pool now.
I was thinking like the climate simulation room, but I still think so. You can fit a maximum
The
504
lightsaber-
people.
Well, that whole area, like the
the
lightsaber
lightsaber's
train.
not big enough.
No, I'm saying that whole area, like the lightsaber train, the indoor outdoor room, all that could be turned into a giant pool, like a cool like slide
They
pool.
weren't like next to each other.
Yeah, they were. That was in the
Were
same
they?
area. All that was in the same area. Like that
Well,
whole
then, yeah.
wing was in the same area. They can just demolish that and make it an indoor, cool, like interesting pool.
Indoor pools
Space
are more likely
pool.
to have bacteria.
Everything's got bacteria. It's Florida. Space pool. Space pool.
What is a space pool?
Exactly.
Describe it to me.
I don't know why you're trying to be litigious about this. Get on board with a space pool.
I would if you would describe the space pool.
It's set up funky, crazy angles, and it's got a cool slide. And it's all like got Tron lights in it. It's a back to tank.
That'd be cool.
Just a giant back to
Have
tank.
back to tanks.
That's it. That's all it is. And overlooking the pool is like Jabba the Hutt, like a giant puppet, just like staring at everyone.
That'd be weird.
Yeah. And
I might
Salacious
like
Crumb
that.
just laughing.
I love Salacious Crumb.
Like, no, you do.
He's a beautiful boy.
What does he call a space monkey?
Monkey lizard.
Monkey lizard.
There's something else I wanted to say. Oh, so I think one of the places that they really, really screwed up with the Star Cruiser is their marketing. Their marketing for it was not well received. People started getting skeptical like then and making comments to the point that they pulled their ads that they
No, I
had out
remember.
at that time. Yeah.
Because you're seeing like the blue lady just being like, and you're like, what is
And-
this Star Wars? This ain't Star Wars.
It's also a concept that it was a little difficult to understand before people started going on it and sharing their opinions and everything. And it still kind of is a hard concept to understand until you go on it, you know, of like what you're doing. They were only advertising to like essentially current Disney customers, you know, to current patrons. It was always just part of like a Disney ad campaign. They never like tried to actually reach out to, you know, the Star Wars audience because, you know, not everybody that's in Star Wars is into Disney. You know,
No,
I'd say the vast
they're actually not.
majority.
They're probably not.
Yeah, and you're not reaching
They see Disney
those
as the evil
people,
empire.
and you're not
The
conveying to them that essentially this is its own Star Wars experience that is not Disneyfied in the sense of, you know,
I don't know. It's pretty Disneyfied.
with the magic, yes, but
No, I think with like how it's set up, I think it's pretty Disney. Because if you look at back at the original,
yeah,
like
because nobody could accomplish that except Disney.
I'm not talking about like the Imagineers. I'm talking about like story wise and how it was like done. Go back to 4, 5, and 6.
yeah.
It's gritty.
It is
Even
very gritty.
Mandalorian season 1 and 2. It's pretty gritty. That's
Well,
Disney.
well,
But
the thing
like,
is that they're making it family friendly,
yeah, and I
which
think,
you know you have to admit 1 through 3 is more family friendly than 4 to 6.
yeah, when he cuts off the arms and legs of Anakin, it's
Exactly.
pretty family friendly.
Well, I mean, at that point, you know what's happening. He had it coming. I think they screwed up with the marketing.
Yeah, they screw up with a lot of things. I think.
They screwed up with the prize points.
Yep.
That is the biggest screw up that they had. And I think
Paying for alcohol.
they thought they were going to be selling out every single cruise. And
Yeah.
they were the first like 2 or 3 months. And actually, I think beyond that. But then like when reviews started coming out, people started canceling. Also, another thing too is it like popped in like my Instagram, like these kids on the Star Cruiser, like doing shenanigans and everything. And, you know, like looking at this and like in their caption, you know, it's just like hashtag hosted, hashtag ad. And it's like Disney had invited these teenagers who are, I guess, like big on Instagram or something to come and do this. And it's just like, okay, well, their target audience is teenagers, you know. Why are you inviting teenagers to sell this? Because teenagers do not have a say in the vacations that they go on and the amount of money that is spent on their vacations. So that's like, I feel like dumb on Disney's part and not properly choosing the influencers that they're going to bring on board.
Yeah, I mean, also Twitter's not real life, so
And, well, Instagram, but
neither
it's
are.
not. And, you know, anytime on my travel agent page that I post Star Cruiser stuff and I look at like my insights and everything, it's always like teenage men that give the most, I guess they're not men then, teenage males that give the
Teenage boys.
boys that give the most likes and interactions and views and everything. So I think that's also telling too, you know.
They fucked up. And they've been fucking up for years now. But I think Disney needs to course correct majorly anyways, as a whole.
They do.
Because
They're
there's
losing money left and right.
they're like, oh, we lost $1 billion here, we lost $1 billion here. And you're like, yeah, it's gonna add up and you're gonna need to actually
Well, they've canceled their Lake Noni. Can't remember what the name of it is. Where they're like moving all the
Oh, yeah.
California people to Florida. They've canceled
2,000
that.
people, they're canceled that.
That was a multi-billion-dollar project that they've canceled.
Yeah.
So they just got to get it together.
Well, the idea of like dumping Echo on Disney Plus and getting rid of Willow is like insane.
It's very telling.
Well, it's like to get rid of a show entirely that just came out.
Yeah.
It's very weird.
Yes.
I'm just curious to see
Among other things.
what's going to happen over the next few months. It's going to be very interesting to see how they're going to try to course correct and actually get people back on their side, because they've lost a lot of people with Marvel because Marvel Phase 4 was just garbage. And Mandalorian Season 3 was pretty hot garbage too, I think. I think it was splotchy at best. And I think Ahsoka, I'm hoping, is going to right the course. But we'll see. And only time will tell.
Only time will tell.
And that's the way the news goes.
So, final thoughts.
It's going to become a hotel. That's my thought.
I hope you're right.
Just a Star Wars hotel. Basic Star Wars hotel. And that's it.
And depending on when we air this episode, it became a hotel.
It became a hotel. The year is 2025. It just became a hotel.
Well, there is a great big pretty okay tomorrow.
Shining at the end of every day.